Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Join me again is Gary Silverman. We are here New Year's Day, of course, talking about getting those financial resolutions taken care of now, learning how to save and budget, and of course, it's also time to talk about retirement and doing that before it's time to retire, correct?
Right. What we were talking about in the last segment was one of the things you have to build into your budget is retirement savings. Well, the question is, how do you figure out what retirement savings you need to be doing? Well, one of the first things I'd like you to do is, well, first, if you're single, you got it made. You don't have to discuss with anybody except yourself. But if you got anybody else in your life, whether it's a significant other, a spouse, whoever it is, you need to discuss with them what retirement looks like. Because a lot of the surveys show that about half of all couples, if you ask the husband what he thinks the retirement is going to look like for them, you ask the wife what she thinks retirement is going to look like for them, they don't mesh at all.
Up, huh?
No, not at all. Especially when she finds out he's going to be at home all the time. That's not going to work at all. So you need to discuss with each other realistically what you want to do. Are you going to be moving? Where are you going to be moving to? When are you going to be moving? Are you going to buy a new house? Are you going to buy a bigger house? Are you going to be slowing the house down? Are you going to be visiting your grandkids all the time? Are they going to come visit you? What's the reality you're looking for in retirement? You think you're going to be golfing every single day? I've heard that's boring, but the golfers don't apparently agree with me on that. So what are you going to do all day long when you're retired? And this is a couple's decision. Yeah. Because you're going to be retiring together. You better get used to each other because you don't have the work to distract you anymore. So what's your retirement going to look like? Once you know what your retirement is going to look like, you can begin now figuring out what it's going to cost to retire. And I'm going to bring up that horrible budget word again. But if you've already done the budget from the last segment to figure out, are we saving and spending less than what we're earning, which is kind of critical, then you have a lot of the numbers down there for what's happening right now. Now I want you to draw another column next to it. Or if you're a spreadsheet person, just click on the next column. And you want to now say, how will these change in retirement? Obviously, the income is going to change probably in retirement. But a different income may come in. You may get Social Security, you may get a pension. Who knows what other things are going to come in at retirement time. But expenses are also going to change. You may not have to have as many clothes, but your vacation budget may go up because you may now have time to do some things. You may eat out less because you now have time to actually stay home and cook. You may eat out more because you don't want to stay home and cook. I don't know how it's going to be for you, but the key is you want to make it your retirement. This is where husband and wife needs to get together, or significant other and significant other has to get together and decide what their retirement is going to look like to figure out how those numbers change. Now punch the button or total it up at the bottom and see now my retirement income versus my retirement spending, is that enough money for me? If not, now that's where savings comes in. And let me give you a quick thumb rule. Let's say when you get all done with it, the amount of income you have coming in is $20,000 less than the amount of money you want to spend.
Sure.
Okay? Now there's a cute little thumb rule, and that's a 4% draw thumb rule, which says that at the beginning of your retirement, you can take 4% of the amount of money you've saved. That's all your 401ks or IRAs or whatever, how much you've saved for retirement. You take 4% of that, and that's a spendable amount. Well, 4% of what equals $20,000? I won't require you to know the math, but 4% of $500,000 is $20,000 a year. Or a quick way to think of it is, for every $40,000 you need, you've got to have $1 million in investments. Okay, $1 million isn't the big number it used to be. It's only a $40,000 income. Now this assumes a worst case scenario as far as investments go, which probably isn't a bad thing because if you look at the last few years, it's kind of been like a worst case scenario. So you got to always be ready for that thing happening. It assumes you're going to inflate the amount you take out to match consumer price index because things, even when you're old, things get more expensive each year. Okay, so it's assuming both those things. So that's 4% rule. Obviously, you want to research this on the internet, talk with your financial advisor to make sure that 4% rule works for you. But it's a nice thumb rule. The 4% doesn't. If you're looking at it kind of like, I need an extra $40,000 a year, I've got $250,000 in my 401k, and Gary says I need $1 million. Well, we're not looking at fudge factor time here. You are off. And you do not have enough money to retire in the way you want to. So you either got to work longer and save up more money, or you've got to cut down on what you want to be able to do in retirement. One or the other works or some combination. Okay, we got to be adults about this. You're not kids anymore. You got to be adults about this and do it right and make sure that your expenses match your income, not just hope, which, by the way, is the most common method people use to figure out if they have enough money for retirement, is basically just guessing. I guess I have enough, and then they retire.
Wow, that's kind of scary when especially whenever you start doing math and really showing those numbers. That's kind of frightening news, but something to think about, Gary.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you opening our eyes this morning.
That's why I'm here.
Well, thank you so much. Again, we always can have additional information. You can find that, like Gary said, speaking with your financial advisor, or of course heading to the website where we can put some links to some more of this information for you. But we need to take one more quick break. We'll be right back for more Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Gary Silverman is here, of course, helping us get ready for the new year today financially. Of course, some last thoughts for us, Gary, before we have to end our show today.
Hey, first thing, don't feel rushed, because there's a lot of stuff we talked about, a lot of stuff we didn't even have time to talk about. But you think of everything in your financial life, you think about all at once, it's like the proverbial trying to eat the elephant, right? How do you eat it? We eat it one bite at a time. And so don't feel rushed. Don't feel you have to rush into anything. Any financial person that tries to rush you in, you've got to do this deal, you've got to invest now, whatever, blow them off, because they are trying to take money from you, not help you with your money. So take your time. But at the same time, the correlator to that is don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that this time last year, you said, I'm going to get my budget together, I'm going to save in my IRA, I'm going to save up for Christmas, I'm not going to be charging up the credit cards, I'm going to have this credit card paid off. And where are you now?
Same place.
You got more debt, you're overweight, you haven't exercised at all, you're like me, okay? So don't do that, okay? You want to not feel rushed, but at the same time, you don't want to procrastinate. So the old thing, get a yellow sticky right what you want to do, stick it on that bathroom mirror so you have to see it every single day. And then part of that, don't try to do it all at once. Pick like the top 3 things that you want to do. If you see your bathroom mirror is full of 400 stickies on it of the goals you have, pick the 3 goals you want to do, shove the others behind the cabinet, and just work on those 3. Work a little bit of them each week, just a little bit, if it's just 5 minutes, just kind of like if you want to lose weight or exercise, just do 2 crunches a day is better than none. 2 little jots and tittles on your calculator is better than none. Get your financial life in order a step at a time.
That's great advice. And then, of course, if you have any questions, head to your financial advisor, correct?
I think so, but I'm a little biased there.
But you know, sometimes that's the best thing to do if you don't know where to turn. So once again, we have information, links to websites, all on ours. That's newschannel6now.com. Gary, thank you so much for your time this morning. And once again, we want to wish you all a very happy new year. Thanks for joining us, Texoma. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning for another look inside Texoma.